Vibes Up Radio HD. Happy Sunday. Vibes Up Radio HD welcomes you all to our Soul to Soul and Classic Oldie Sunday. Please don't forget about our Sunday cook-up pot, where you can call us up and let us know what you're cooking. We start our day off with Sunday morning gospel.
There is power in the name of Jesus to break every chain, break every chain.
Then our live DJs take over at 9 a.m. Play the best in oldies. Soul to Soul. Rocksteady. And classic reggae, just to name a few. Sundays is where you and your family can put your feet up, kick back, grab a glass of wine, and listen to some great music from our live DJs. Our phone lines are always open, so you can call us up and spread some love or requests. Our telephone number is 718-342-0510. Oh, by the way, don't forget about our Hot Topics, which starts at 6 p.m. with our live DJs. It's real hot and spicy. Please don't forget to download our free app for Android and iPhones, or you can just log on to us and listen to us from anywhere in the world at www.vibesupradiohd.com. Soul to Soul is sponsored by Wilmore Liquor, 1162 Wilmore Street, Brooklyn, New York. Queens of Queens Beauty Salon, 339 Rockaway Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. Mr. Copy King Incorporated, 341 Rockaway Avenue, Brooklyn, New York. From our family to yours, happy Sunday.
I'll walk away from love once more. I do every time.
The Sunday Night Mix-Up Show. The Sunday Night Mix-Up Show. With the divas of the Sunday Night Mix-Up Show. The Sunday Night Mix-Up Show features weekly discussions about topics that are important and purposeful to our current society. The discussions are led, conscientious and inspiring individuals who complement each other by adding their own unique touch to the discussions. So join us on the discussion every Sunday from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time by calling 718-342-0510. Don't forget to download the Vibes Up Radio HD free app and listen in or log on to www.vibesupradiohd.com. You can also find us on the TuneIn app. Find us on Facebook at The Sunday Night Mix-Up Show, on IG at The Sunday Night Mix-Up Show, on Twitter at The Sunday Night Mix-Up Show. The Sunday Night Mix-Up Show.
Talk to me.
Ladies, want your hair to stand out from the rest? Or a top-of-the-line hairdresser who specializes in weaves, braids, ponytails, and more? Queen of Queens Beauty Salon, 339 Rockaway Avenue between Glenmore and East New York, specializes in weaves, ponytails, short hair, kids' braids, dreads, and much, much more. Not forgetting our makeup artist. At Queen of Queens, hair is our first priority. When you want to stand out from the rest, your salon should be Queen of Queens. With over 20 years of professional hairstyling services, we can give you the image you've always wanted. Whenever you fit hair to
It happens, man. It happens.
trim and shape hair in accordance to clients' demands. With strong knowledge of analyzing customers' hair and physical features to suggest hair
How was your,
treatments. Expert
yeah.
using specialized equipment such as hair layers, curlers, and steamers. For more info, follow us on Facebook. Queen of Queens Beauty Salon or just perfect on Instagram. Visit to Waves and Wigs or call 718-385-1258. Queen of Queens Beauty Salon, 339 Rockaway Avenue between Glenmore and East New York. Give your hair the treatment and style it truly deserves. Shine bright.
Samantha was there and she brought those to me. I came here and met you here.
But beautiful like diamonds in the sky.
But why are you looking so vexed, baby?
Why my party is tonight and I can't find no liquor?
What you mean, say you can't find any liquor?
I was looking here, I was looking there, but every place I go is too expensive.
Did you think about trying Wilmore Liquor?
Wilmore Liquor? I never heard about the one where they're located.
Looking for liquor to supply for all your party needs? Well, look no further. Come check us out at Wilmore Liquor Supply, located at 1162 Wilmore Street, between East 98 and Rockaway. Where our motto is we do better for less. At Wilmore Liquor, we offer the most variety and the best price. We offer variety of West Indian rums, champagnes, Moët, Moscato, vodka, such as Grey Goose, Cicerone, Hennessy, Jack Daniels, Johnny Walker, just to name a few. And the best part about it is that we have the best prices in town. That's right. Come check us out at Wilmore Liquor, located at 1162 Wilmore Street, between East 98 and Rockaway. For more information, contact us at 347-413-8414. Once again, that's 347-413-8414. Wilmore Liquor, where our motto is better for less.
I can smile now, thanks to Wilmore Liquor, my party can go on now. Where the prices is the best in town.
If you're on the road or you're going out of town and don't want to miss your favorite radio station, no problem. We are available on all smartphone devices. Just look for us on the TuneIn app or just log on to www.5zupradioht.com. Again, www.5zupradioht.com. And take us with you. We are here for your convenience. 5's Up Radio HD app is now available for all smartphone devices. Download it now for free and take us with you wherever you go. Subscribe to our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Or just log on to our website at www.5zupradiohd.com. That's the Vibes on the Streets. Now, back to the music on the #1 station that's rocking the streets. 5zupradiohd.com.
Switch. Switch. I think the assignments switch here from. It should be 2.
Yes.
It should be 1.
I think it's 2 and 3.
2 and 3.
And youths are looking up to us for their direction and following our footsteps every day. God knows it. The road that they travel will decide their destiny as role models, and the youth will lead astray. Whoa. So Mr. Musician, what is your intention? Father God, I and I, oh yeah, oh. So much times I've tried to teach the youth them how to live together as one with everyone. Whoa. But so many contradicting music they are hearing and are following each verse in every song. Oh, Mr. Musician, what is your intention? Is it just millions or is it relations? Why there's so many violent lyrics in your song? Oh, for us to move to us for their direction and following our footsteps every day. God knows it. The road that they travel will decide their destiny. As role models, don't let the youth.
Yes.
Whoa. So Mr. Musician, what is your intention?
You want to say God bless evening, reaching out to each and everyone out there wherever you are. Vibes Up Radio.
Listen, man, you violent lyrics in your song.
Yes, it's a Monday evening. Once again, it's talk time with Sharmin. Every Monday right here from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. Reaching out to the Vibes Up family this evening, wherever you are.
Teach the youth the truth and the right. Every man has a right to decide his destiny, but children will adapt to everything they hear and see.
Yeah, to those of you that logged on already on the Facebook feed, don't forget to download the Vibes Up Radio app, Vibes Up Radio HD, #1 internet radio around the world.
It's our responsibility, Mr. Musician. There is no reason for the violent lyrics within this song. For us to move along, this can go on. What about humbleness?
Good evening, Captain. See you logged on.
Tell me what's about teaching me.
Welcome, Roshan. Welcome. Got an interesting program this evening, Miss Roshan. I hope you can call in to share your thoughts on what we will be talking about, because I know you're going to have some experience in this area. Get the number one time, 718-342-0510, 718-342-0510. And for all of my peoples out there, I just want to remind you once again, you know, this is not a gospel show, as I explained to you last week. So don't inbox me to, you know, because of what you're accustomed to me doing. We're doing something that is very great. You know, Sharmin is on the forefront and she's bringing some interesting topic that we face every day in life. And you're going to learn something if you want to learn something. If you don't want to listen, that's up to you. But I'm telling you, it's going to be great. Yes, if you know you're blessed, if you know you're blessed.
Who God says I am blessed and highly favored, safe and divine and delivered. I am blessed and highly favored, safe and divine and delivered. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed.
Yeah, we got a lot to talk about this evening, so we're gonna start just now. We're gonna get into the conversation in a few minutes. By the end of this song. Good evening, Miss Lynette White. How are you today? How is sunny California?
God says I am the righteousness of God through Jesus Christ the Son. I am the righteousness of God. Through Jesus Christ the Son. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed. I am blessed.
Yeah, that's right. I am blessed. Lynette, since you're tuning in, I gotta play one. This is the voice of Miss Lynette White. Good evening, Janelle. Stay tuned. Stay tuned. This evening we'll be discussing hyper incarceration. Some of you probably don't even know what that means. So if you don't know what it means, you just stay tuned. We will explain that to you. As my son said to me that earlier this afternoon, he said, "Daddy, spell it." Welcome, Michelle. That's right. He is great. We know that he is great. This evening we're talking about hyper incarceration. It's Talk Time with Sharmin. You tune into Talk Time with Sharmin every Monday evening from 6 p.m. to 9 p.m. And we have a special guest in studio also with us this evening. And from what I'm told, she is an expert on these sort of things. So, you know, we'll get into the discussion in a few minutes, but let me welcome Sharmin in. Sharmin, good evening. How are you today?
Good evening, Pastor Peter. How are you? I'm good.
Well, you know, as I always say, I'm blessed and highly favored and flavored.
How was your week so far?
Very tired, but thank God I'm here.
Okay. Well, I don't know. I was looking at, and I was like, will Pastor Peter be here? But here you are, and we're here tonight,
Yep.
ready for the show.
Yep. So, you know, will you introduce your guests, and we will start the discussion, because you know how it is around here. But those of you that are joining us for the first time, this show it's about bringing information to the public. We talk about things that sometimes are taboo. You know, things that you don't want to discuss in your home, things that may feel uncomfortable for you, some things that people don't discuss that You know, it's very important to us in our personal life, in our community, and so on. So those are the things that we talk about here. All right. So this evening, we're talking about hyper incarceration. Sorry to cut you there, Sharmin, but just needed to let them know what we're dealing with. Go ahead.
So tonight we're talking about hyper incarceration. Most of us are either affected by it directly or indirectly in some way or the other. So I have my friend and my co-worker. While I was driving, I said, wow, Wanda and I have connected, I think, like 10 years now.
Yes. Yes.
So, yes, like 10 years we've met and we have connected and we stay connected. We work at the same place. Wanda is very knowledgeable, and you guys will be seeing a lot of her because I'll be using her expertise because I'm not an expert in every area. And I will bring in people that are good at whatever topic we're discussing.
All right.
And tonight, this is one of them. I have no idea, and I know Wanda has done this for a number of years. And so to my left is what Miss Wanda Best, and I will let her introduce herself. And first of all, I want to say thank you for coming. When I called you and I said, Wanda, I need you, you were like, sure.
Thank you for having me. I am the president and co-founder of Citizens Against Recidivism, and what we do, we provide emergency assistance to formerly incarcerated people. And many people go back to crime because they do not know where to access services that will help them have a successful reentry. And that is what we hope to do at the organization. The organization started in 1993 by myself, and I also had a co-founder.
Okay. And in the years that you have been, since you formed that organization, Wanda, what are some of the highlights? What are some of the things that you have seen occurring?
Well, first I want to do like a little commercial.
Okay.
And we're having our 10th annual fundraiser on October 22nd. And what we do at that event is honor formerly incarcerated people who've come out and have had a successful reentry. And so not everybody who go to prison and go back, they don't recidivate, not everyone. The recidivism rate in the United States is somewhere around 67.5%. It could be higher or lower at this point. So what we do, we want to highlight that other 33% because the media and the news focus on the ones that go back to prison. They never talk about the people who come out and become successful. So we have honored people who teach master's level courses in college, who have started their own businesses, who are practicing law. So you never know who's standing up in front of the classroom teaching you. It could be a formerly incarcerated person. So we need to move away from the stigma of saying once you go to prison, you always go back, and because that's not true. And that's what we try to show with that event.
So let's say someone spent 10 years in prison, they came out, they went to college, got a degree, and they heard about how do you find the people that you honor?
Well, pretty much they find us.
Okay.
Because if you're going to help someone who's coming back, you don't wait till they get out. You make contact with them while they're still in. So we do in-reach to the prison as well as help them once they get out.
Okay.
So I want to say some statistics to really show how serious this issue is in terms of hyper-incarceration.
And before we go to the statistic, what is hyper-incarceration?
All right.
Because there is a difference between hyper-incarceration and mass incarceration.
Right. Personally, there's no such thing as mass incarceration because mass means the masses. Means everybody's going to be equally represented and within whatever the system is. Hyper focus on what it really is. If you look at the criminal justice system, the criminal justice system has mostly people of color. All right? When you look at the statistics in the United States incarcerates the most people worldwide, with over 2.3 million people under criminal justice supervision. Now, when you look closer to home in New York State, and that's where we are, then you're seeing up to or more than 52,000 people in state prisons. And we're not focusing on Rikers Island and the city jails. And Rikers Island have about 4,000 or 5,000 people there. So this is a serious problem that has a negative impact on communities of color. So when you look at the demographics of people who are incarcerated, you will see that over 52% are African Americans. We're not talking about people of color. We're just solely talking about African Americans. And when you look at the percentage of African Americans in the population, it's about 12%. So there's a big difference. If it was mass, it would be equal.
Right.
It would be about 52% in the population, as well as the what's in prisons and jails and penitentiaries, because they are microcosms of what's going on the outside. And so that's a problem. And it becomes hyper because it's targeting a specific group of people, African American males between the ages of 18 and 32. And so that's what makes it hyper, because they are targeted. It's not mass because we have equal white people, equal others, equal as the same number as what's in terms of African Americans.
Wow. What are some of the impact on the family of the impact of hyper incarceration on the family?
Well, what happens to the family? Many families disintegrate because women go to prison too. So you might have mothers in prison, fathers in prisons, and the children are left. So it has a negative impact in terms of income, in terms of financial support, in terms of emotional support. Many of the children are stigmatized because they have a parent in prison. Right. Also, what happens is the people who are siphoned off from our communities and shipped upstate, and they're counted in the census upstate. That means taxpayers' dollars that would normally go to us here in the community are now going to wherever the prison is located.
Oh, yeah?
That's how it is. Capitalism.
Wow. So much to learn.
Yes.
That we don't even know.
Yes.
Wow.
Could you repeat the age group?
18 to 32. And I did some research, and it's quite interesting, and not saying rap has anything to do with it, but it suggests that it does, is that the same group that buys the most rap music are 18 to 32. The same group.
And that's the same group
that's incarcerated. That's the average age of people who are
18 to 32.
Right.
And that's our leaders of tomorrow, Pastor Peter.
But
and just before you say whatever you wanted to say, Pastor Peter,
right.
Look at the impact of on our leaders of tomorrow. When we had the show on HIV, the age group of the newly diagnosed was 13 to 24.
Right.
So young people.
Here we are, the age group of the hyper incarcerated is 18 to 32. And I'm repeating that
From inner cities.
from inner cities.
See, poverty plays a big role.
We're going to get there.
Mm-hmm.
So here we are in the inner city, in the poor neighborhoods, and we have hyper incarceration and HIV. And these are our leaders of tomorrow. And maybe we'll do have another discussion topic, and that's the group that surfaces that we have a serious problem in our community.
Right, and it goes to education. Not academic education, but educating the community around the issues. The community needs to know about hyper-incarceration. The community needs to know of AIDS and how you contract AIDS.
We have a caller. Caller, you're live. Welcome to Talk Time with Sharmin.
Hello, good morning, good evening, good evening.
Good evening, and how are you?
I'm all right. I wanted to interject on what you guys are speaking about.
Okay.
The age group is correct, yes. And they said one cause was rap music. I would like to beg to differ.
No, I didn't say it was the cause.
No, we're not. We didn't say. Let's clarify that. We didn't say it's the cause. We just say that that's the age group that listens to rap music. So we didn't even try to make a correlation. It's just something we pointed out.
Okay, well, in these kind of cases and situations, rap music doesn't always get the blame. So other music on genres, but if you check and see who run the music industries, it's mostly the Jewish guys, the white corporates.
And what they do, they exploit the people that come in and
so they're using
exactly
the less fortunate
by
exploiting them bits and let them demean their morals in their home. Now it's everything is connected. Now if you're paying attention to everything that's going on, you cannot discipline your kids them the way you used to.
Mm-hmm.
That's why. They try to put parents in prison for disciplining your kids them from being involved in anything and getting themselves in trouble with the law.
Mm-hmm.
That's the catch-22 by itself.
Mm-hmm.
It's like your hands are tied, but they want you to be a parent at the same time. And now they're bending rules and laws to avoid you from being a parent.
Yep.
So you're a kid. And these are the who are controlling music industry. Look at most of the new rappers right now. Half of those guys are mentally ill guys, let me say, I can say this without being without discrimination. Look at the new rappers them right now. Half of those guys, the educational background that they put out in the media and saying what they fit to college and what is false.
Yeah, but why are they like that? You see, it's deeper than
Because
what you see. It shows them. Hold on. It's deeper than what you see on the surface. You see all the negativity on the surface, but where did these people come from? How did they grow up? Did they grow up in poverty? Did they grow up where everybody around them is smoking crack and fighting and drinking alcohol, and they don't have any representative of what it's like to be successful with an education? You see, before we start making statements about how bad these people are, we need to consider the background.
Yes, and I totally agree with you with that. But what I'm trying to say to you is that these industries, these labels go around picking sort. They made the choice to say, you know what, this is what is going to get them. Have them stuck in one dimension with their mind frame and thinking, this is going to work. Let's go get that. Execute this mark. This is going to be our brand. This is it. That's what these guys do. And most of these labels are individual major corporates. Rap music are owned by black entity anymore.
They are vultures exploiting our young people.
You know, this is going to take me back to what I was about to say, Sharmin.
Mm-hmm.
Because the same number and the same age group of white
Yes.
listens to rap music too.
Mm-hmm.
So why is
Exactly.
it not on their side also?
Because they have opportunities
Exactly.
that our young people don't.
Exactly.
And
Most
No, because they don't play the same kind of music that plays.
Yes, they
our
do.
neighborhood
Yes,
that
they
plays
do.
that.
Yes,
But-
they do.
yeah, they do.
But
They do.
their socialization, it
Yeah.
differs from those of our young people
Exactly.
because they have most of them might have both parents
Mm-hmm.
around. Their parents might not be in jail. Their parents might not be involved in drugs. They might not be living in an environment where they're
Teaching.
influenced.
It's all based on teaching.
But one of the thing is that when you're in poverty and you see a way out, you will take that way out.
Quickly.
You know,
Because
and
a
a
man-
lot of these
a
young
man's war.
a lot of these young people, because I've been in the music business. I used to be a DJ in a dance hall and all of that. I know a lot of these young people, you know, they see this as an opportunity. They do what the label asks them to do or tell them to do. Yes. Because they see that as a way out. All right, I'm tired of living in the ghetto. This is what I have to do. I'm going to do this. And if you look at it, how many rappers that came out of the ghetto that comes back into the ghetto? They don't come back because they already made their way out.
But don't let's get off the topic.
I know.
Because
I just want to say this piece to
The
what
caller.
the Reverend said, add to, in support of what he said, is that the white ones that purchase, the same ones purchase just as much as the black ones.
Yep.
When they go and they have the money to buy it, they're not buying bootleg. They're
Mhm.
buying it directly from the
Yes.
stores and the distributors. And so when they listen to it, they're in a home. They have two parents, and they are hanging out with the kids that don't, the kids of color.
Yeah,
You see,
because it's,
so
it's
there's
a
a
deliberate
difference.
plan.
So
It's a
what
deliberate act.
happened? Right. So then
It's a willingness
to
program
go
to take
back to
place.
your question, to go back to your initial question, well, why is it not happening to them? And like somebody said, because they have different opportunities. They have different doors that's open for them than people of color. And it's unfortunate, but racism and discrimination has gone nowhere. All you gotta do is listen to Trump.
Caller, we thank you for your input and your opinion. We have other callers trying to get into, so thank you very much, sir. Thank you very much. Keep listening, all right? 718-342-0510 is the number. 718-342-0510. We want to stay on the track, but oh boy, this evening gonna be crazy. Good evening, caller. You're live. What's up? Good evening, caller. You're live.
Hey, Sharmin, this is Tyrone here. How y'all doing? Good night.
Good night.
Hi, Ty.
That's a very interesting topic. I happened to do some volunteer work a few years ago at returning convicts from the upstate area. And I like what you guys are discussing. I can tell you from working in that industry, doing the volunteer and working with those prisoners coming back, that there's really no bridge between prison life and returning to civilian life. You know, a lot of these guys come back home. I remember one gentleman came, when he went to prison, he didn't even know there wasn't cell phones. And when he came back, he had to be taught what a cell phone is. He had to be taught to use a Metro card and different kind of stuff. The state provides no transition to help these people when they come home, even for the minor crimes. You know, I always scratch my head as to why they call it correctional facilities when there's no really correcting of the behaviors that have caused these people to end up in these environments that we call prison. Why some of them seem to come out more criminalized than when they went in, so to speak. And what the sister is saying right there about there's a vast number of people who got struck by criminal activity, got locked up in prison, and who come back out from prison being matters more than what you are actually doing and what you actually become. You know, I stopped listening to rap music because I felt it was getting too violent. I stopped listening to dancehall already because I felt it was getting too violent. I have daughters and I have young kids, and I want them to not hear me promoting things that demean women and celebrate violence, so to speak. And a few years ago, I came across an article from an executive in the rap industry, and he spoke about the fact that it was a conscious effort of record producers in the rap industry to change from the positive genre of rap music into the negative, violent, gangster-prone that gave us so many rappers and that continues today in the music. Because at the same time that was happening, we had the invention of the private prison industry, right? So there had to be a need to fill these new prisons that were being built, and rap music was seen as the vehicle in which to help to fill these empty prison beds, so to speak, right? Wow. And I'll share the article with you because I made sure I went and looked for it online to see it was covered by several international media houses and what's that. And I will send you a copy of this and what's that.
Okay.
All right?
I have a comment.
Yes, ma'am. Go ahead.
All right. First thing is we have to be conscious of the language that we use when we refer to people who are incarcerated. If we continue to call them convicts and ex-cons and felons, us in the community, we're not doing anything to help them have a successful reentry. That further ostracizes them. When we refer, it's like somebody who's on drugs, they get off drugs. You be an ex-addict for the rest of your life. When you go hold on. Right. So the community, again, it goes back to educating the community around mass incarceration, hyper incarceration, understanding that incarceration is something that's part of a plan. Now that sounds like a conspiracy. And you mentioned part of the plan was when they changed the rap music to be more violent, and the kids are listening to this all day and every day, then that's going to have an impact. There were studies done. The kids that watch karate movies, when the movie was over, they start doing karate.
Yep.
So what do you think is going to happen if they walking around with this music playing in their ears, playing in their cars, and sooner or later they're going to be programmed and they are going to adapt that behavior. So it's part of the plan. You see, prisons is big business, and you mentioned private prisons, and recently I heard that they're going to start closing them because the prisons became such a business and had nothing to do with corrections. So we live in a capitalistic society, and you need ways to generate taxpayers' dollars. Okay, you put people in prison. All the industries around that prison is going to make money.
Yep.
And that is why when they had the prison boom going on, and they building these prisons in upstate New York, not downstate, to create jobs for farmers, and farming went out with agriculture, that, for example, Attica, that whole little town around the prison of Attica contracted with that prison. So they made money. You see, it's about making money. It's not about correcting people. It's not about, that's what the riot was about. I don't know if you're familiar with the Attica riot that took place.
Yes, I am.
Right. So that riot took place because the people there, the prisoners there, they got sick and tired of being treated less than human. And their demands was to be treated as humans, to be given allowed to get an education, so that when they come out, that they will be able to be more likely to get a job and have a successful reentry. So, all right, they went in, killed off the governor, sent in the helicopters and the National Guard, and they went in, and everybody that had died as a result of being shot by the National Guard. But what did the media say? The prisons did it. And everybody believed him. But that wasn't true if you do the research and really understand what happened in Attica. All right? So for a few years, after Attica, they put education in. People came out with master's degrees. All right? Less people went in. All right, so now we're going to shut it down. So around about 1993, they stopped the master's levels. They stopped the bachelor's levels, except for colleges, private colleges that went in and used their own money. They stopped the Pell Grants and for people who were incarcerated by selling the public a myth that taxpayers don't want their money, taxpayers' dollars is paying for murderers to be educated. And that wasn't true. Yes, some of them were, but the reality of it was only 1% of Pell Grants went to people who were incarcerated. 1%. And research shows that people who go to prison and come out and have a tool to work with are more likely not to go back to crime. But they got to keep the crime going. They got to keep the crime rising because certain people need jobs.
Thank you for the correction of the verbiage and whatnot. I always like to be educated, and it's a great topic. And I'm going to feed the line to others can call in. You guys continue doing what you're doing.
Thank you so much, Ty.
All right.
All right. 718-342-0510 is the number. 718-342-0510 is the number. You know, it is a very interesting topic because when we look across the whole spectrum of everything, you know, we may want to blame certain things on rock music, but rock and roll have some similarities, you know, but we don't see the other side, you know. We don't blame them because of the rock and roll or whatever what they're doing, you know, but we stigmatize because of rock music. I myself personally, I don't care for rock music. I don't listen to rock music, but I'm not gonna chastise anyone that wants to listen to it.
But Pastor Peter, I listen to rock music, but I listen to gospel rock. If you go through my playlist, you will find a lot of Seven, you will find a lot of Bizzle, you will find a lot of Lavoisier, and these guys were once street gang members. I'm wishing, and I know that I will eventually be able to get one of them on our show.
That's easy.
Yeah? Okay, so we'll have that conversation. But I listen to them.
Yeah.
But you wouldn't you wouldn't find any other rapper on my, because I don't think that they have a message. And you see, there is a link between how we are socializing our children.
Right.
And so if you, whatever, during the primary socialization, you're the leader of your child.
Right.
And whatever is going on in the home at that time, that's the foundation that you're building for your child.
Right.
So, mommy smoking crack and daddy in prison, and that child is 2 or 3 years old and have to fend for themselves at an early age, there is nowhere that child would be complete in high school unless there is a positive influence during secondary socialization.
True. True.
So, despite the chaos in the home, if there is a teacher at school or at after school that is going to play a special interest in that child,
right,
so that they have a different role model, well, then you'll have some changes, and that child has been influenced by some positive, or had positive influence. But as Wanda says, one of the things I'm concerned with, Wanda, in certain neighborhoods, you can find more than 20 non-profit organizations, or more than 50.
But do we know about them?
but my point is, you have 50
Right.
non-profit organization in one community,
Mm-hmm.
but then yet you have a high incarceration rate in that community.
You know, my son is 12 years old now, and 2 years ago, he was in a rhetorical contest that he won, and he get all sort of recognition from the city and whatever. And I remember a piece that he wrote. He wrote concerning the same thing with the gang members and being incarcerated and all of that, right? And he wrote about the politicians, that they have so much influence. Why can't they provide places for, to give activities to these young people to do? I mean, there's so many things that you can do. Because if you're in a position where you can acquire a piece of land, you're in a position where you can put up a building on that piece of land, and we could call it a rec center or whatever you want to call it. You can have trade fairs in there. You could bring in people that knows different trades to teach, to equip these young people. If they have these things, I'm pretty sure you won't see them out there. But they don't have the places to do that.
You're right. And I want to encourage everyone that around 7:20, if you have teenage daughters or sons that might be acting out and going in the wrong direction, I am going to have a young man is going to be calling in from prison, Wanda, that has been incarcerated since he was an adolescent. Since he was an adolescent, and he spent more than 20 years in prison. He's still there.
Wow.
And so he will be calling in to share his story. And I am not sure if he's listening, but I know he'll be calling in around 7:20.
I got a question. Do you feel that many of our young people has been misrepresented in terms of legal representation that causes that too for such a high rate of incarceration?
Yes, considering that many of the young people that enter into the criminal justice system come from poor areas, so they end up with a legal aid. Legal aids have more cases than they can actually take care of.
Right.
And they don't have the time to spend on one case that's needed to have a positive outcome for the young person. All right, that's one scenario. And then I've seen other scenarios where, unfortunate, people probably call up and say I'm wrong, but where the legal aid didn't really care about the young person because the young person doesn't look like them.
Right.
They have a job, and their job is to either have them into the system or get them off.
Right.
And so it's easier to have a case that do a plea bargain than take a case to trial. Now, because the city don't want to spend a lot of money to take a case to trial, they'll get the young person that most of the time don't understand the law to cop out to a lesser charge. Now they have a felony. It's on their records, which is going to create a barrier for them to get employment and other things.
Wow.
So, it's the legal system that's supposed to be balanced is unbalanced for people of color, young people of color from poor areas. But it also impacts white people from poor areas too. It becomes a class thing. If you don't have money and you get a legal aid, and I'm not saying anything negative about legal aid, it's the reality. I grew up in Harlem. This is what I saw when I was younger in terms of people that I encountered that got into the criminal justice center. All of them had legal aid. All of them copped out.
Wow.
And all of them went to jail.
So I guess that what makes the population odds up. I
See,
mean,
now let me
it's-
add this little piece to it
Yeah, go
too.
on.
You know, when you look at, if you have a case and you have juries. See, people of color don't go to the jury. They
Right.
try to get out of going to the jury. But we need to have more people of color on juries, on grand juries that can represent us. When you go down to be a pick for a jury, you don't see people look like us.
Right.
You see people who in some cases come in with perceptions of us that's not true. And we might have our son or daughter there that got to be judged by these people that already come in with a perception of
Right.
what young black males or young black females are, or young black males and females of color is about. You see, that's part of the problem too. So it's not just one thing. You know, there's so many different facets to what's going on that leads our young people into the criminal justice system.
Because in the past year, from about mid 2015 to present, we have seen so many African American male that has been released from prison because of being incarcerated wrongfully.
Yeah, wrongful conviction.
Yeah.
That's not to say the judges are perfect. Some judges are racist.
Right.
Some judges, when you stand in front of them, they don't see you based on your case. They see you based on the color of your skin.
Right.
And that's how they sentence you. Because you can have, and there has been studies done, that you will have a black person and a white person with the same crime. The black one's going to get more time than the white one. Look at the guy with influenza, the white guy, that they let him go because if he go into prison, it would have a negative psychological impact on him. But if he had been black,
Right.
he would have been in prison. Another case where the guy raped the girl, caught on top of the girl, raping her, and what do you get, 6 months or something, very light sentence. And then there was another case where the Hispanic guy was convicted of rape and got sentenced to jail, prison time.
Right. That's true.
What are some of the factors that that influences incarceration, other than poverty? We know about that. What are some of the other factors?
Well, of course, they got to commit a crime.
Well, of course.
You know. But, you know, lack of education, all right, lack of parental supervision for the younger people, drug addiction. You start using drugs, you got to support the habit, they either going to sell it or commit crime, robberies, get it. Poor education, going to the school system, the schools, teachers don't care, a lot of them, and the kids pick up on it, so they don't care if the children don't, if the students don't apply themselves, because they're going to walk out with a paycheck anyway. And many of the teachers don't look like our children. You know, a lot of them come from Long Island, they come into our neighborhoods, they deal with our children, then they go back. You see, it's starting to change now, but when my daughter was in school, the teacher told her point blank, my daughter, because I always talk to her about history, that why is no black people up? I think it was some kind of history. It was the African American history? It was some kind of something we were doing. But all the pictures put up of the inventors and all that, where everybody was white. She came home and told me. And she said that she asked the teacher, why was all the people white? And the teacher told her because black people did nothing during that time. And of course, you know, I had to go talk to her.
Of course.
Of course.
Wow.
Yeah, but see, this is the perception
Right.
that they have. And I could remember, and I went to school in the 60s, that there was this teacher that the class was jumping all over the place. So I could understand the frustration, but there's certain things you just don't say to young people.
Right,
And
sure.
he said, well, I don't care if you don't sit down. I will still get paid. So this is the mindset of many teachers and more educators in the grade school level. You know, they might be a little different because the students are going to be different as they start to go to college. It's our education, housing. We live in a housing development. We live in an area where there's garbage all over the place, and people are urinating in the elevators and in the stairwells and smoking weed and whatever else they, you know. So all these things contribute to the deterioration of a mind of a young person. So it has to be a strong family support to help them see beyond that, because not everybody who grow up and have those kinds of experiences end up in prison. Not everybody. You know, there are some people that become very successful without even having any contact with the criminal justice system, but it starts in the home. How are we educating our young people? What are we telling them? What examples are we setting for them? You know, how do we prepare them to deal with that glass ceiling? You know, you might become successful, but the way society is constructed, there is a glass ceiling in some areas. That in some careers, you know, you can go but so far, and you're not going further than that. I mean, all you got to do is take a look at corporate America. How many black people you see there?
Right. Wow. 718-342-0510 is the number. 718-342-0510. It's talk time with Sharmin, and we are talking about hyper-incarceration. If you want to join in the topic on the conversation, you can do so by dialing 718-342-0510. We have Miss Wanda in the studio with us this evening also. And you know, it's a very interesting topic, because sometimes you might say, you know what, why does that concern me? But as long as you are a young black person walking around out there, it does concern you. Because you don't have to do anything to end up in prison. You can end up in prison. And you know what? How would you feel if you know to yourself that, you know, I did not do this crime, but you end up in prison anyway? And when you come out, you know, there are people that stigmatize against you. How would you feel? You know, so you can't, don't look at it in the negative. You got to look at it in the positive, you know. How can we help them? 718-342-0510, Ms. Sharmin.
Wanda, how does one deal with the stigma of being incarcerated, or being the spouse of someone who has or is incarcerated, or being the child?
Okay, so, all right. First, how does a person coming out deal with knowing that they've been incarcerated and that they have these barriers that they're going to have to overcome? That's how you have to deal with it. Being conscious that not everybody in society is going to accept you, but you cannot allow that to hinder you from the things that you have to do to get your life together. You have to, like the gentleman earlier said, the convicts. You're going to hear that word. It's a offensive word, especially to someone that's been incarcerated. It's a hurtful word, because you have gone in and you've done your time, and now you're out and you're trying to do the right thing. You see, so the person just has to be conscious of those things and being able to handle them, and not let them deter them or take away their self-esteem, or to take it personal that they become that convict. It's very easy when you're going from job interview, and nobody wants to hire you. That's a very stressful thing. You know, it chips away at your self-esteem. And so if you give in to that anxiety and that frustration, it's going to overwhelm you. And that is one of the reasons why the recidivism rate is so high.
Oh, okay. We're going to go to the phone line. Good evening, caller. You're live with Sharmin.
Caller, you're live.
Yes, hello.
Hello?
Yes. I was just listening. I'm sorry. I didn't know that I'd have to call in to answer question anything. I'm sorry.
No, that's okay.
That's okay.
You want to contribute? Do you're listening to the show? Are you enjoying the show?
I just got on and I wasn't listening yet. I'm sorry.
Okay,
Yeah,
that's
I
fine.
didn't get a chance to really hear too much.
Okay, so I hope when you hear enough that you'll call back.
I will now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. 718-606-4106 is the
No,
number.
718-342-0510.
Where you get that number
You
from?
I don't know, you just give out your cell phone number or something. I have a comment here by Sean McDonald. Sean says, if it's believed that other groups, particularly European Protestants and Jews, are engineering many of the woes afflicting a wide range of communities populated by persons of African ancestry in the U.S., what are we seriously prepared to remove? What are we seriously prepared to remove their ability to manipulate our communities and regain the captaincy of our own destiny? Keep the conversation going for relevant education is much a prerequisite for appropriate change. Blessings.
Pretty much.
Yep. But I mean, is there like places that one can go to be educated, because as you keep mentioning education, because a lot of us, I mean, in biblical term, the Bible says that God says, my people perish for the lack of knowledge. If we don't have that knowledge, how will we get the understanding? Where can you have a foundation? Can you give more information on your foundation?
Okay, Citizens Against Recidivism. We are located in Springfield Gardens, Springfield Gardens, Queens, and our phone number is 347. Let me come back to the phone number.
Okay, so we'll get back to that part.
Right,
But
I want to get the accurate phone number, because most of the time I'm out in the field, so I don't really call the number.
What would be some advice that you would give to someone that is, just transitioning back into society?
Well, I would say stay focused, not to focus on the struggle, what's going to come at you, because you're going to come out, you don't have a job. In most cases, they come out without a job, and then they go on job interviews. Prepare yourself as much as possible while you're in, so when you come out, you'll be ready. Make sure you have a resume, and link up with organizations that help people. You have Osborne Association, you have the Fortune Society, you have the Corrections Association. All of these organizations help formerly incarcerated people identify what their immediate needs are and link them up with the wraparound services that they need to help them to have a successful re-entry.
Is community affairs in the area in which you live can help them also? I'm talking about community affairs from the precinct.
Probably not. Because community affairs, they probably say go over to the same places I said, but
right.
I don't find that the police are really involved in helping with re-entry.
Right.
They're more working with the community, and I'm still trying to figure out what they're supposed to be doing besides shooting black people. That's what. Shooting black men. But, they have their pluses. They have DV units that go out and educate the community. Their officers are supposed to be educated in terms of how to help victims of DV. But I do not see reentry as part of what community affairs. It should be, but it is not.
That's why I posed the question,
Right.
because
It should be, but I don't really see a lot of that.
yeah, because I mean, who better to prepare you? You know, they know all the ins and the outs, and I mean, they're here in the community to work.
I don't think the police are prepared because, see, in order to help a person have a successful reentry, there's services that they're going to need. The police, they're not trained that way because you have to know if a person come out. First, you got to see what services they need. Some of them come out need anger management. Some of them come out need substance abuse treatment. Some of them need mental health treatment. Not just a job. See, these things have to be in place first in order to help the person maintain a job. Because if the person come out and they're homeless and you need an address to get a job, that's going to be a barrier. You go to the shelter. All right, you're in the shelter, and a lot of the people that come out are in the shelter too. So now you're in an environment where it's criminal to a certain extent. People are getting high, you know. This is what happens in the shelters. So ideally, maybe, but I don't think at this point the police, they don't do that. They're not, because you know what? Some of them don't even care.
Right.
You know, and that's up at the top. You know.
One of the things that I see, I receive a lot of letters from mostly men that are incarcerated, seeking housing. So, when I receive those letters, I know that their release is contingent on them having a place to go. And sometimes it bothers me that, you know, there is this process that we have that we can't accept them into the facility. So sometimes I don't even open the letters. It makes me feel bad. But opening it would just be like, okay, what am I going to do with this? I can't help you. And it always reads the same way. That they're about to be released and they have to have an address and a place that they're going.
They're probably going to be on parole. And they have to be paroled to an address. That's probably what's happening. This person is going to be paroled, and they need an address to be paroled to. So if you get those letters, and what I would do is have a standard letter and just refer them to the shelter system, to DHS.
But even if they're referred to DHS, they have to physically go to the assessment center to be accepted.
They have discharge planners inside the prison. They're supposed to. That will help the ones that have nowhere to go.
Okay. Okay. So I'll create a standard letter. And just because what I do, I just see it.
DHS. Because see, when you don't respond, you know, that kind of takes away some hope. If somebody gave you the address. That's something to think about. Somebody gave that address and said you could get help here. So it's a lot. It's some misinformation floating around in the prisons because they don't know. They just going based on what somebody said. That you can contact volunteers of America or you know, and they'll help you out. Not understanding that it's a process that has to take place before you can get in here. You know, into the program. People who are granted parole, they want to get out of it by any means necessary. They want to go somewhere. You know, it's unfortunate. But I want to go back to, you asked what about the children, the sticking out of the children, and some studies show that the children who have parents incarcerated have lower reading scores, lower math scores, higher dropout rates, higher rates of teen pregnancy.
Carly, you're live. Welcome to Talk Time with Sharmin. Hi, Sean. How are you?
I'm all right.
Thanks for calling.
Thanks for being with you there.
Sean?
Yes, am I on there?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
The reason I asked that question,
This was just that. No, I was on the air. Sorry. The reason I really asked that question is because that's the topic I've been hearing since I was grown up in this country over 35 years. Where the claim is made that the society has many persons and groups engineering the failure of African people in this society, not just African Americans, but I'm from Guyana as yourself. And much of it is true. Much of it has been shown to be true. I mean, I grew up in the hip hop era. I started with the Jewish young guys, took over the hip hop from being produced from the local guys like Russell Simmons and them, Def Jam. I was a part of that stuff. And, you know, they took it to the next level. And, you know, we went to court fighting against a couple of 4 neighborhoods upstate New York who were engaging in prison gerrymandering so they can get the federal block grants, you know, because this community fell apart because in the 1980s, Como and them sent away their jobs offshore. So there's much evidence to support that there are groups of individuals, ethnic groups of individuals in the American society that have been engineering the better ways to manipulate and exploit African population. My concern is, what are we prepared to really get challenged? Because the criminal justice system is one area where we are in a track, but it's across the board.
Mm-hmm. Yes, Sean.
Yeah, that's a question. I really think that, you know, and it relates to the prison industrial complex of the deal because, you know, the different sentence guideline that came about for crack cocaine. I got friends in jail all across the country, all the way going back from the 1980s, got caught up with these ridiculous sentences.
Sean. He's gone.
No, he's here.
Hello?
I'm here.
Oh, okay. All right. You mentioned the prison industrial complex, right?
Yes.
Okay, that's another term, just like mass incarceration, that was used to bring attention to an issue. There is no such thing as the prison industrial complex, because if there was, the jail, the prison, and the penitentiary will all be under one control, like the military industrial complex.
Mm-hmm.
You see the difference?
No,
okay, now, jails are for people who have a sentence of less than 1 year, and they stay there maybe up to 18 months. That's a jail. That's a whole different system than the prison system. The prison system is state. That's when you commit a crime against the state. Jails is when you commit a crime against the city. When you look at prisons, prisons are crime against the state, and you can go there for life. But you're going to be over 1 year. So in order to go to state prison, you have to have a sentence of over 1 year, 18 months. All right? Now, when you look at the penitentiary, that is when you commit a federal crime. So there is really no such thing as the prison industrial complex, because a complex is controlled by one entity, and the prison system is controlled by 3 separate entities that has nothing to do with each other.
Thank you.
Wow.
All right, Sean, I hope we were able to answer your question there.
I mean, I'm taking that, but I don't want to take up the time, but it's go back to the point of, where do we go? How does the community change itself to meet those guidelines? Because I've watched 3 decades criminalization of my neighborhood, excess of youth. 3 decades, it's my 3rd decade.
It's the people who know, got to educate the people who don't know. Yep. And we that do know, such as yourself, have to teach our children. You see, it's not going to change unless there's some form of education and encouragement and awareness and an increase in awareness. That's what's going to change the community. It has to start in in the organizations that's the stakeholders in our communities, the churches, the mosques, those type of organizations. We have to educate our young people in our homes. It's a collective thing. It's not all of a sudden you wake up one day and the community is going to be different. That's not going to happen.
So I'm very aware of that. I'm just my 30 years of experience. I'm very aware of that. But there is some action I question because I think the conversation, and that's why I said thanks to this type of conversation, because the conversation must be had, but it must increase the honesty that have us do some self-reflection, because we can't keep pointing fingers on what other people are doing. People are going to do what they do. But if we have a better defense and a response, they can't do what they do. And not just be start externalizing.
Okay, so we have an example here. We have Miss Prince, Sharmin Prince here. She has the power of a radio station, and she's educating the community. More people need to do that. You see, as many people as she's reaching with just this conversation that we're having tonight, somebody's gonna walk away with their awareness increased about this issue of hyper incarceration. You see, so we have to collectively use the tools that we have at our hands to educate each other. Each one teach one. You see, we can't look to the people that oppress us to educate us and inform us. I didn't learn anything about Black history or African history. Both, they're different. African American and African history, two different things. I didn't even know anything about it until I got to college and I took electives that educated me around African culture as well as African American culture. You see, they're not going to give it to us. We got to get it for ourselves, and we got to pass it down to our young people so that they know. And radio stations that have conscious message, that's a start, and more people need to do that.
Excellent point. Thank you very much. Thanks for your education. Thanks for the way in which you broke down the continent that you know. Thank you very much. Keep up the good work, and correct. We have to all be each other's keeper, and we have to look at our leadership, because the leadership is setting the tone.
That's
Thank
right.
you. Great work, and Sharmin, thanks for doing it. Blessings all.
Thank you, Sean.
All right, Sean. Oh wow. You know. If I understand correctly what he's talking about, I've known of a situation in a certain facility. I cannot use the names and all of that, but I'm just gonna use an incident that happened, and this is within the Jewish community. There was a sexual assault that was committed by a Jewish person on another Jewish person. The security called the cops. That's what he's supposed to do. Now, the whole Jewish community around there now came in, and they kind of like, well, why you call the cops? We got to talk to the rabbi. The rabbi is going to deal with it. They try to just sweep it under the rug. The police officer that came, it's a female officer that came. She's from Canarsie. She said to me, you know what? This is why I need to transfer from out of here. Because you could never make an arrest over here. This is what you get. Every time you come, they deal with their own situation. We cannot arrest them. So, I mean, why can't we be like that in the African American community?
Because we're not that connected with each other.
And we don't have laws that protect us.
But isn't there ways that we can accomplish that?
Sure.
But it starts with I'm gonna touch something that I really don't want to do on my show, but the leadership that, or the quote unquote leadership of our community.
Right.
I don't think that they have our best interests at heart, because that's where it began.
Yes.
And a lot of them have the floor to make changes. Some of them are making some little changes.
Right.
But it takes not just that one person or that group of persons to make the change and the impact, they have to be able to influence their peers to make those changes. The Jewish community, despite what, they stick together.
Right.
And it's more them than us. You see, when you look at the legislators, people of color have been locked out so long, and you've had people of non-color making the laws and the policies. So when a law or a bill, when a bill comes that's going to represent us, and you look at the little pool of people that will support that bill, a lot of times it doesn't even pass because we don't have enough people that support our issues in legislative positions. And unfortunate, some people that look like us are easily bought out. I'm trying to not say certain stuff.
Right.
And we don't get it then either. Because they look like us don't mean they're going to pass bills that's going to make necessary changes that we need to make. So it's a lot of work that needs to be done. And the more people that we can wake up and increase their awareness, we will get there. You see, but we just got to keep pushing and pushing.
I mean, our kids really need to be educated, and we need to find ways. We need rec centers, we need community centers, we need places that we can have them assemble, where we can educate them also. Because when you look around our neighborhood, you don't see a white person come in and shoot a black person. What we see is what we call black on black crime. Our young children are doing it, shooting each other, killing each other, beating each other up. We need to educate them. If you go into the Jewish community, you would hardly see that.
What you need to think about with the black on black crime is the anger. You see, there's studies that have been done that if you put a bunch of white mice in a small area and you don't feed them, sooner or later they start to eat each other. And it's the same thing in the black community. You put people in housing projects, in housing that's not up to par, housing that does nothing to build character and self-esteem in the young person, that becomes internalized anger. And that anger, when you don't have a after-school center to go to, and you don't have a decent park you can go and play some basketball to get that energy out, then that energy turns into violence and anger, and it takes over the mind. And so now what happens is you will have them gravitate to smoking weed and other drugs. And those drugs is, I'm not saying they're right or wrong, but what I am saying is those drugs is there for a purpose. And that purpose is a lot of our young people are self-medicating themselves against what they're living with and what they're living around. You see, if you go into affluent neighborhoods, you walk down the block, the lawns are manicured, everybody got their house, and everything is nice. All right, you come to an inner city, and what do you see? Garbage all over the place, stray dogs running around, people going in, and like you said earlier, it's not a good environment. So how can you feel good in that kind of environment? You see, back in the 60s, when the drugs hit the streets, they were supposed to stay in the African American community. It became a problem when the white kids from Long Island started to come to Harlem to buy drugs. Then it was a problem. Then they put drug education in the schools.
Wow.
Caller, you live. Welcome to Talk Time with Sharmin.
Hi, Miss Sharmin. Give me 1 minute, please. Over.
1 minute's up.
That's the connection. She's making the connection.
Hello?
Yes, go ahead. Hello, Sham?
good night. How are you?
I'm great, Shem. Thank you for calling. Thank you for calling. I announced that you will be calling in, and I'm sure our listeners. I encourage our listeners to bring their adolescent children to the radio or to the phone or the computer, so that they can listen while you share. So thank you, Tracy. Thank you, Shem.
You're welcome.
So Shem, can you tell me what age you were incarcerated? When you were incarcerated, how old were you?
I was 16 years old.
And would you like to share your story with our listeners? Because I'm sure someone may have a 16-year-old that is listening, and we're easily influenced. We're might be in a home where there's not much structure. Go ahead. You have all the time, Shem.
Okay, well, where to start?
Anywhere.
Okay, well, I've been incarcerated now since I was 16 years old. I am now 37 years old, and the experience has been, way more past what is considered a learning experience. It has been a transitional state. But before I even transitioned to the person that I am right now, it was devastating, trying, hard. It was just you in a state of misery, agony, pain, just being separated from your family and being around a new environment, a different environment. And it was hard. It was pretty much hard. But the most important thing that I would like to illustrate to anyone that's listening right now, especially parents and the adolescents, right now is the best time for you to take your child, as a parent, take your child and sit them down and explain to them that, the prison environment is a very serious environment, and it's not nothing to take lightly. It's not nothing to boast about, as people be doing on, rappers or movie actors. That thing is not real. Everything they show right there is not real. You gotta.
Hello? I guess we'll have to call back. The person will cut it out. They're not supposed to do three-way. So, Pastor Peter, he said he was incarcerated at 16. He is 37.
And still incarcerated. Wow.
At 16, I was still in high school. I guess I was writing CXC.
At 16, I was making mischief.
It would be interesting to know what was his environment at 16.
Yes.
That led him to make the decision that caused him to go to prison for, for that amount of time. There was something that was going on in that young man's life that was so wrong. And especially when they're that young. When they're that young, you make decisions, but you are influenced by other things. And a lot of times those things that you are influenced by, you don't fully understand. And in the process of not understanding...
He's going to share that.
Yeah.
He spent more time in prison than he spent
on the street.
Calling you alive.
Yes, this is Shem calling back. Hold on, please.
Okay.
Shem, you online?
Okay, yeah, sorry about that.
That's okay.
But, all right. But as I was saying, though, it's not nothing to take for granted or for joke, like the whoever is listening to this right now to take heed, absolute heed to what it is saying, because there's no cameras in here to show the public what really goes on in here. There's no cameras whatsoever. So it will be very important for the parent right now to sit their kid down, like I said, and have a strong discussion with them and tell them the difference between, you know, fiction and nonfiction. What they see out there and what they hear, these rapper dudes that's mentioned in prison, boasting it up, talking about it, majority of the time they have not even been to prison. They may know someone that's been to prison. Then when the TV display, that's fake. When you're beyond these walls and in these doors, it's a whole different thing. Because you have what's called, you know, lock-in time where they do the count. And a lot of people cannot deal with being in the room by themselves. When the doors is locked, this is when, you know, all your thoughts come together. And a lot of people have gone crazy. I haven't witnessed it, but I've been close to it where a lot of people, you know, committed suicide because they were not mentally capable to deal with the isolation. And especially isolated from their family, which is number one, and isolated from the rest of the prison population, which is number two. You're in a room by yourself, and this is something that I had to deal with myself. And, you know, smoking cigarettes will not help me because that's what I developed, a cigarette habit, thinking that that would help me. It did not help me at all. The only thing that helped me is age, that, you know, I had to grow into it and understand and tell myself that this is going to be here, and this is something that I just have to deal with. But I would not want anyone else, especially coming into jail at my age, to have to deal with this. Because it's a mental process where it really breaks your soul, it breaks your spirit, it, you know, you contradict everything you've learned from a child, like, you know, a parent or a grandparent may tell their kid to believe in this, believe in that, be strong. When you're in here beyond these walls, locked in away from everything else, that strong and that strength is going to be tested. It's going to be tested so hard that I've heard people cry at night, like grown men, literally grown men in their 30s and 40s, they just let it all out and cry. And me being in there, I understand the purpose of them crying because it's hard. It's a hard transition. I myself shed a few tears. And that's something that I'm not afraid to say because I want everyone to know there's no one that come to jail and to honestly say that they had a good, you know, what's called a bid, doing a bid. They had a good prison time because, as if you would notice right now what's going on in the street with the police situation and Black Lives Matter, just imagine if you come to jail, there's no camera in here to show what really happened. People die in here. People die in here from prison altercation. People die in here from prison and correctional officers altercation. So I want everyone to take this real serious. And the best advice that I could give to a parent or to a child, first I'm going to address the parent. It will be the best thing for them to learn the law from scratch. So if their child is pulled over or in the process of getting arrested, they would know how to properly defend themselves, know what to say, know what not to say. And if your child is hanging around with someone that you feel suspicious of, it would be your best recommendation to tell that child to stay away from them. Do everything possible to keep your child away from someone that you feel suspicious of. Go with your intuition. Go with your gut feeling, because this same child could possibly be the one that leads your child in a bad situation where you will have to be traveling miles and bringing packages and sending them money and letters just to keep that child afloat. So you have to nip and catch everything right at the very, very beginning. And if you see your child is doing something that you do not recommend, you know, sit them down, speak to them. This is why I'm working on a foundation called Adolescent Survival Kit to hopefully bring some light to parents and children. Because a lot of times, you know, as kids, they're not fully developed. They think they know it all, like I did myself. And in all actuality, we know absolutely nothing. So it would be the best advice is to give your child the best teaching and the best conversation that you could have with them And for the children, for the kids, the young adolescents, the teenagers, the young adults, my advice would be to you, do not come to jail. This is not, it's not a game. It's really, really not a game. You have individuals walking around here with scars on their face, a lot of scars on their body. Individuals burn each other. It's just not something to take lightly. You must stray away from this. For the simple fact that if you think that you want to come to jail or would do anything to come to jail, which I hope that you don't, just keep in mind that this is a journey that's not guaranteed for you to return back where you came from. You can be left right in here.
That's powerful.
And the reason why I'm giving it to you harsh, because that's just where it is. It's just the harsh reality of it. There's no sugarcoating it.
Cham, I really thank you for your honesty, but I have a question. What were your home environment when you were age 15 and 16?
Oh, my home environment was, a regular family environment, supportive, uplifting family environment, a working family environment, put it that way.
Okay.
Shem, I have a question. My name is Wanda Best, and
Excuse me, I'm sorry, can't really hear you that good.
okay, my name is Wanda, and I have a question. So, what about the parents that have a child that, or have a youth that's already caught up in the criminal justice system? That it's too late to tell them to stay away from this person or that person. They're in the system. They're going upstate. They've already been sentenced, and they're on their way upstate. What would you tell that parent?
Well, good question. The first thing I would tell that parent is to tell that child to stick to yourself. Stay away from people. Take all the programs that's available at whichever facility that he's in, and stay away from the gangs. That's number one. Number two, we have what's called walking in a straight line. You know the things that you could get, the things that you can do. Don't try to go outside the scope because everyone else is doing it. Just try to stick to yourself as much as possible. That would be the best advice. Stick to yourself, go to your programs, and just stay out of Dodge.
Thank you.
It will be like the same way as the parent schooling the child in the street. The same way, but just in a little bit more realistic situation. The parent has to give him the same advice, but, unfortunately, they already caught us. So the best advice they can give them is just basically stick to themselves. And don't borrow anything from anyone, because in the end, when you borrow something from someone, or anyone gives you something, believe it or not, 8 to 9 times out of 10, they expect something in return.
Shem, I don't know if you're comfortable with this question, but this question came about. If, let's say, the parent, right?
Ask the question as it is. I'm okay with it.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't do that on the air.
Okay.
So Shem, let's say we have listeners who have relatives in prison right now, and because of whatever crime it is, they have turned their backs on those relatives. What would you say to those listeners?
To the individuals individuals that have turned their back on the relatives because of whatever particular crime they committed?
Correct.
Good question. Well, I would tell the listeners that it's up to you whether you want to support that relative. I'm gonna be brutally honest.
Mm-hmm.
A few dudes that I've encountered in prison that has what's considered debased or messed up crimes. A few of these individuals, after learning them, meeting them, and having to live around them, a lot of them they was in a trying state of time at the point of their crime, meaning that drugs was possibly involved. There's like a 65% chance that drugs was involved, and I'm just speaking off of experience. And the other percentage, I would say, it has to deal with something in their mental frame. Their state of mind was not properly, functioning at that time, or they was just too caught up with emotions or rage. So until you are able to get the full concept or grasp exactly what happened, what transpired to let them hear, or what caused them to do what they do, or what caused them to do what they did, there's no real way for you to really get an understanding whether that relative should stay with them or do not stay with them. But I'm also going to be honest with you too. A large percentage of the population that has what's known as adulterated crime, rape crimes, or these white boys. And believe it or not, they families stick with them no matter what.
True.
And some of their crimes are against a family member, whether they touched, whether they fully went along with the act. Once again, it's a radio show, so I'm going to edit my speaking. The point is that I look around, and I even had a conversation with my sister about this, I believe, is that they still come and support these individuals. They still come and support these individuals, as opposed to a black male or a Latino that's in prison for probably shooting his man or shooting someone off or hustling, beef, or whatever the case may be. A lot of times they family turn them, they wives or baby mother, whichever the case may be. Now, through my personal comparison, I know there shouldn't be a difference on what are the ramifications of the crimes are, but from my personal, insight of things, I see they take care of their own more better despite the crime, which I said is a large percentage of a population. Despite the crime, they are there, opposed to us, our family and friends or whatever, that fired a gun for whatever reason, a pair of sneakers, a beef went wrong, or just out of silliness. You understand? So I could just honestly say, try to understand that person. Reach out to the family member, or I'm quite sure sometimes they probably try to reach out and explain they self what led them to be there, what led them to commit the crime. And, if you can't stand it and deal with it, if you don't like what you hear, it's sad to say that, it's going to be what it's going to be. But at the end of the day, those are mainly the individuals that, commit suicide in jails when there's no one there to support them. You have to be mentally strong, and you have to literally be mentally strong. And you're computing everything like as if you're a robot. You're told when to get up. You're told when to go to shower and eat. You're told when to go to the yard. You're told when to go to the shower. Everything is programmed. You become programmed. It's computerized in your head.
Shem, you are absolutely correct. People who families support them while they are incarcerated are the ones that's least likely to go back to crime once released. They do better during the time that they're doing their bid, and once released, they are less angry, less frustrated, because they've had the support of families.
Absolutely.
There's studies out there that have proven that. The families should stay connected with the individual incarcerated. It makes people need other people to love them and to touch them, to to make them feel like they matter. And when they don't have that, like you said, they commit suicide, they become very angry, and in some cases, they catch another case while they're in there with a small case, ends up doing 25 or life.
Wow.
Absolutely. 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 And it's sad, but it's just the way it is. If I could recount and give you every day time where I myself literally had to talk dudes down, and when I say talk dudes down, I mean like I just had to be so creative to tell them that somebody loves you, man, somebody matters, somebody cares. Like, you have to understand, when individuals are in jail and they have a family and they believe that their family turned their back on them, that takes a major toll. They feel like they have nothing to live for. They feel like they have nothing to do that could make that person proud of them. So they just take everything down, what we call lights out. They just take everything down and they just dwell and they continue to dwell and dwell. And you have a lot of hardcore individuals in jail that will not give a hoot manny about that next person's feelings. They could be right next to them. He will not care. The only thing he would actually care about is after this individual has died, he's deceased, he would want to get this stuff that's in his room.
Wow.
I mean, honestly speaking, I'm going to be honest. This is the direct impact of what this facility have on you. This is the direct impact. There's no ifs, ands, buts, or anything around it. Only people that actually cares about you, I believe, like myself, is people that's been raised with a family structure, or anyone that has a strong insight on feelings and is intact with their emotions, because in here, individuals got this persona, oh, I'm tough, my chest is out, I don't give a damn about no one else. Their main focus is what I can get from you. This is a lot of dudes, ideology in prison, because when they don't have anyone supporting them, the best way they can get something is from the next man. And that leads to altercation, which is another story, because now when a person defends themselves, he creates what's called a chronological record. So his chronological record is going to mention fights, cuts, stabs. So when he goes to the board is going to deny because of his chronological record. He has what's called repetitive violent behaviors. But they don't see the bigger picture. They cannot see the bigger picture because they actually promote, and I'm talking about correctional, they actually promote a lot of these things. They literally promote it. When I was in adequate correctional facility, if anything happened to you, you get cut, you got stabbed, you got beat up, they're going to tell you, don't come and report that to us. You better go back and finish it off, because when you're done, we're going to beat both of y'all up.
Wow.
Wow, it's amazing.
It's literally...
Go ahead,
It's literally not a joke, and I'm glad that whoever's listening right now, that I want them to really, really hear all the words that's coming out of my mind. It's not a joke. It's not designed for you to come in here and be rehabilitated. It's designed for you to come in here, stay in here, have fun in here, and put this prison life on the map as if it's something to be proud of, as if it's something to be placed on the map. It's not. People that have love and people that have care for you outside, they're doing almost everything possible to get you out there. And while you're in here, you running around like a chicken with your head chopped off like you got no sense. But majority of the time, you're not really telling your family the truth. And a lot of these dudes that come home with their chest out and boasting about prison, yes, and I've been in jail. A lot of these dudes be turning out to be, I don't know if I can say it, but the other side. Huh?
Yeah, say it.
A lot of these dudes be turning out to be homos. I mean, I see a lot of them. Don't be fooled, y'all. Don't be fooled when these dudes come out here. They come on the block acting all tough. This, that, and the third. Don't be fooled. Don't follow them, man. They didn't have a good prison life, as a lot of them will demonstrate. The person that had a prison life will be someone like myself. I came in jail at a young age. I transitioned. All the crazy stuff I did that. I'm not even going to lie. I did it. But it led me nowhere but just kept holding me down. And I did it because I had a lot of rage. I had a lot of anger. I'm in a new environment. I didn't trust nobody. I'm seeing everything that's going on. And I'm not going to be no one's victim. So the first sign of danger, I defend myself. I sat in the box, was called SHU, Special Housing Unit. Almost lost my mind because I did years in there. But the best thing that could have ever happened for me while I was in there is that you have a variety of books to choose from and read. So instead of me being on the gate arguing and getting into more trouble, picking more fights, I turned into a hermit. And I created my own little monastery, and I just started reading. And I just continued reading. That's how I free my mind.
It's amazing that you said that, Shem, because I wanted to ask you what were your coping mechanisms for the last 21 years that help you to be so strong and you can articulate your experience the way you are?
Well, one of my coping mechanisms was religion. Not just one religion, various religions, because I was raised in a Christian family, my grandmother, and I had to fight with the Bible. I'm not even gonna lie. I had to fight with the Bible. I had to fight with God too. Jesus Christ, everybody. Because here it is. Actually, a good kid used to cut my neighbor's grass, or she was an elderly woman, and here it is. I followed stupid friends, and I end up in this jail system, and it's like everything just went downhill, and I'm asking God, like, ain't nothing I did count. I've done good. Ain't anything I did in my lifetime counted. So I had a battle with God, but my coping mechanism was religion. I studied Christianity. I studied Buddhism. I studied Islam. And the last thing that I finally found myself studying was Scientology. But I eventually returned to, getting down on my knees, clapping my hands together, praying. And my other coping mechanism was working out. Just literally walk around the room all day and just do a bunch of push-ups.
Are there any educational opportunities in prison at this time? I know around 1993 they stopped the Pell Grants for people who were incarcerated, and prior to that people were getting bachelor's and master's degrees, which help when you're released in securing employment. So at this point, what type of educational opportunities is available?
Okay, the educational opportunities that's available right now would be vocational. Vocational being a trade, a training that you could learn while you're in it and earn what's called a identifiable recommended certificate, meaning that Albany, Governor Cuomo's office, they recognize these certificates, and they're ones for plumbing, electrician, and anything basically carpentry, dealing with building a house, painting, and they could actually take these trades home to the street and utilize them because they have these unions now. The state, which is another big conglomerate, the state is now coinciding with unions where individuals that earn these certificates, they go home and they could actually earn a real paying job to support themselves and their family. And
so you're saying there's
only a few colleges, a few facilities have.
No, go ahead, Shem.
Only a few facilities have colleges, and they're mainly in the New York State close areas, as far as close to the city. Not no spot up top, Clinton, Comstock. None of those jails have no colleges, even though I'm under the impression that they're implementing them and all. I'm in one of the college myself. Right now I'm in the associates.
Is that with Bard?
Because
is that with
Bard?
Bard?
Excuse me, I'm in Bard College.
Right.
I'm in the associate slash bachelor's right now because I just entered into it. I just took the first test and got into it. I'm proud, my sister's proud, but I'm ecstatic. I'm not even gonna lie. But I'm the associate slash bachelor's for the simple fact that because they believe I am a little too advanced, that I cheated because majority of the book that they're giving these the prisoners to read and a lot of the topics that they're touching on, I self-taught myself to do that. So I'm a little bit advanced for the associate. So they got me in like a pre-bachelor's program right now. But I'm in Bard College, first year.
Shem, does a lot of prisoners take advantage of those opportunities?
You know what? It's sad to say this, but don't. And I'm gonna be honest with you about something. And this is the most disturbing part of my life right now, being that I'm on a different level. A lot of these dudes, especially our people, black people, they act like they are literally still on a block. And it's sad. They act like they're literally still on a block in New York with dudes hanging out. It's like they have nothing better. They have no ambition. Like they don't have anything that they want to conquer. They don't have no future plans, no long-term, short-term goal. They just literally feel, okay, I'm here. And these are the dudes, and this is also disturbing, these are the dudes that don't have a large sentence. Some of them 10 years, 7 years. And they feel I'm going to come in, I'm going to lay down, I'm going to do this time, write my baby mother, write one of the chicks I was dealing with, and go back out there and act like they was doing something in jail. They literally they're just lost. But you do have to.
So you're saying that, Shem, so
yes.
You're saying that
you have 60 seconds remaining.
Instead of them doing the time, they're letting the time do them.
Time do them. Absolutely.
Wow.
Well, you know what, too? It's also like, it's a facade. It's a fad. It's a fad. Like, these dudes have in their mind, like, okay, I'll come to jail. I'm in jail. I've done this. Because a few of them, me being in jail 21 years, I see them come back and forth 2-3 times. Like, you still here? Like, yeah, I'm still here.
You have 30 seconds remaining.
I have 25 years to life. You running around playing games with your life when I could have got that opportunity and do something with my life out there. So it's sad. That's why, like I told my sister Tracy, I said, I just stick to myself. And I just hope she understands as much as possible when I say that. I can only focus on me right now. Me, my family, and those who care about me. I can't.
Cut off. 30 seconds up. Can we take a break, Pastor Peter?
We sure can. Yeah, once again, I want to say God bless evening, reaching out to each and every one of you out there, wherever you are. This is Vibes Up Radio on a Monday evening. It's talk time with Sharmin. We're going to go back to the phone lines. Good evening, caller. You're live with Sharmin.
This is Shem calling, right?
Okay.
Okay. Shem?
Yeah.
All right, Shem. It's all yours, man. You go ahead. You were talking, brother.
Okay, yeah. As I was saying is that, you know, I can't raise the whole earth up and cultivate it because one man can make a difference, but in this environment, it will be a very, very hard fight. However, me and a couple individuals that are doing something with our life, and that's in a part of the BARD program, because it's kind of like a little secluded environment where, you know, we don't let the nonsense be brought over to our section for the simple fact that this section is for uplifting, it's for people with some type of ambition, and people that's trying to do something and go somewhere. You know, me and a few fellas that I, you know, grew up with, unfortunately, a few of them been in jail since they were 16 also, that what we started doing is pulling a lot of individuals to the side that are in school that don't have a GED yet. We are pulling them to the side and tutoring them one-on-one, the ones that need writing, the ones that need, you know, mathematics, the ones that need social studies and science. We're pulling them to the side and helping them out. And talking about the younger brothers and the other ones, as soon as they come through the door, we pull them to the side also. We let them know what this prison life is about, because now Department of Correction is showing videos where, and they got all these things posted around. If you ever come to a jail, or if you ever visit this jail, you will see it now. They got all these signs posted around from Andrew Como that prison rape is real and this, that, and the third. And they just now starting to do this after multiple lawsuits have been one of them. And we pulling them to the side and letting them know that, you know your company, know who you hanging out with. This dude may say he know you from the street. This dude may say he know your family. This dude may say he know you from the minute you walk through the door. That's all trickery and lies. Dudes in here, they master manipulators. They sit down and work on their craft and they sell. Some of them even work on their stupid craft and they sell to go home and just come right back. But we pull them to the side and let them know, you know, what is it that you're trying to do with your life.
I have a question. Yeah? So you say
okay.
that you are tutoring the ones that don't have a GED. What percentage of the ones come in, what percentage of the prison population would you say don't have a high school diploma?
You said what is the, I can't hear you, but you said what is the percentage?
Yeah, what, you know, I know it's hypothetical because, you know, you're not literally counting, but for the people that you encounter, right, is it a large percent of the people that come in, you said you were tutoring the young ones, do most of them come in with a high school diploma, or they come in without it?
Majority of them come in without a high school diploma. Majority of them come in without even getting into the 7th, 8th grade.
Wow.
So do you think that the ones that come in without the high school diploma, so obviously something happened that influenced why they ended up in prison?
You know what? At this point in my life, I can say absolutely, because without education, you can't really fully understand right from wrong. People could tell you that don't do this or don't do that, but not everyone will tell you why not to do this or why not to do that. So this is where education played a part. And when they don't have the education to fully, you know, understand or grasp the concept or create their own position in life, yes, of course.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Pastor Peter, you have any? I mean, Shem, you have been so good. I run out of questions.
Yeah, well, what I want to say to Shim, real quick. You are sharing information that is priceless. You see, when you get information from someone who's actually having the experience, that's a priceless. That is priceless information. That someone who hasn't had the experience, they could tell you, oh well, you can expect this, but you're actually living it. So I want to thank you for taking the time to be open and to share that information over the airwaves, because there's probably hundreds, if not thousands, of people listening to what you're saying and the feedback that you're getting. So thank you, Shem.
Thank you very much.
Shem, I also want to commend you, man, because you know you shared great insight and great knowledge. Because I remember when I was a young man too, I've done a lot of stupid things, and you know I used to think that you know going to prison, it doesn't matter, that you know you go in and you come back out hard and whatever, you know. But now that I'm listening to you, I've been saying this before, but you know, it come more of a reality now that I can say, thank God I was never caught. You know, thank God that I never end up, you know, to having to go to prison. Go ahead, brother.
I would say that too. Yeah, my brother.
Yeah, go ahead. You say what you want to say, man.
No, I would say that too. Thank God you didn't get caught.
So let me ask you a question. Thinking, okay, now put on your policy hat and advocacy. Now, when you think of what changes need to take place inside the criminal justice system, do you have any recommendations as someone who've had the experience, living the experience, and you could see firsthand the changes that need to be made?
Ooh, I have a lot of recommendations, but one that will get straight to the point, narrow down. I would just say stay home.
No, I'm saying from a policy perspective. From a policy. What policies that impact prisoners that, you know, you never know who's listening. And there could be some bills and legislation that you can give some information that could help push it through. You see, if you don't change the laws, then everything stays the same. You follow me? So, for example, I know that I was very active in the prison phone system when NCI had a monopoly on the phone system with the prisons. Whereas if you were a prisoner inside of Eastern Correctional Facility and you made a call down to the city, you was going to pay $10. But if somebody on the outside, just right outside the prison, made a call from a payphone, it was only going to be $5. So what NCI was doing was kicking back money to the Department of Corrections, and this money was being paid from the collect calls. You see, so what we did, we advocated, we got together and we protested to have that changed, and it was changed. And other states, because see, people that don't say anything and you don't speak up, and unfortunately the prisoners, they don't have a voice until advocacy groups take up their issues and put them out there. That's why I asked you that question. Okay. Is that what is it that's wrong inside the prison that needs to be changed, that could possibly be some legislation to bring about that change from political from a political perspective, that can be given to Andrew Cuomo as a bill so he can sign it and make the changes as necessary.
Okay. I didn't quite hear you the first time, but being that you gave me the example. Well, number one is you know, the reality of it is these officers got to change. That's number one. And as far as for the prisoners,
and what does that change with the officers?
Because a lot of times, believe it or not, these officers create attention. They create attention and they cause a lot of tension. They promote a lot of things that people are not aware of that they are actually promoting. And when it hits the fan, when it gets blown up or out of control, this is where they use they badge to camera. I'm not on audio tape. It's my word against a prisoner word, and at the end of the day, the prisoner always loses.
Right.
So that's number one. You have to create.
So you're talking about officer accountability, holding them accountable for their actions.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Just
that's
like the police. There's no police accountability.
There you go. That's what we call them in there. This is the street bus in there, so in there they the police.
Right.
and they are walking around right now. It's ironic that we discussed this, because they're walking around right now with a collar sleeve on the right or left arm, so saying, Blue Lives Matter.
Yeah, so that creates tension right there.
That's what I'm basically telling you. Blue Lives, okay, Blue Lives Matter. This is something that's going on in the street. You are nothing but a correctional officer. You are not a police. You are a correctional officer. More frequently a corruptional officer, but that's another story. But the main thing that has to change is with them, because they have the keys, they have the paperwork, they have the power. And without them being changed, we can't really begin to fathom any type of adjustment with the prisoners. But if I'm to have my own personal say, and hopefully something gets pushed, or legislation to make some type of change or difference, you have to divide and separate prisoners. You have to keep a person that's underage, which they now starting to do, in a facility or in a particular specific place where he's not going to be exposed to other older, manipulative-minded individuals. That's number one, because when I came upstate at 17 years old, my first facility was Comstock, which is known as Great Meadow, and I was 17 years old. I was the only 17-year-old in the company. Everybody else was in their 30s, late 20s, trying to run all the game on me as possible. So when you got situations like that, where you got kids come to jail with grown men that's more, basic what they thinking, they're gonna take advantage of these young kids, which they always try to do anyway. And then the kids from that, he's gonna go join a gang because now I'm in a gang, I'm gonna get some type of protection, I'm gonna get people to back me, So now he might have been a good kid, but by him doing the things he has to do to survive, that creates now, some type of brick wall around his heart. He might have been a good kid, but that creates some type of brick wall around his heart. So now he just possibly turned a kid that could have been, learned his lesson, remain a good kid, go back out there. Now he's a part of something now, and he has to live up to this hype. He got to put on this persona, and that's it right there. You got to deal with separation and segregation. It's sad to say, but you have to put everyone in the proper perspective.
Sharmin, it's amazing that you said that, because I met this former correction officer who was sentenced to, I think he was sentenced to 10 years, but he served 7. And he shared with me that as a correction officer, they would allow the prisoners to fight. And and on his shift, he told them, "You guys go ahead," and they know the rules. That the rule is not, you don't hit each other in your face. However, one of them, a couple of his ribs broke, and they didn't know that. And when he went he had to be taken to the hospital. I think one of his lungs was punctured.
Wow.
And so he was charged and lost his job and lost all his benefits and even spent 7 years in prison.
Wow.
Yeah,
and he just came out, so he was sharing the story with me, and I was surprised that is something that is encouraged and that is done among them. And because of the severity of the injuries, everyone above him that is involved in those acts just turned their backs on him and just,
that's what they do.
They sold him out.
They do. That's what I meant by promoting. You was honest, being that real under him. a lot of things that people don't be understanding that what's really going on in there. There's no audio. There's no cell phone to catch these people on any type of way. So it's going to be a prisoner's word against these individuals' word. And I had a tough time dealing with these individuals because when I was in Elmira, me and two of them got into it. You know, I got jumped by 11. I went to the outside hospital. I came back from the outside hospital, cleared to go to, once again, the box, SHU, because me and them had a fight. And then they jumped me again outside the fight. I mean, I'm meaning to get those pictures and send it to my sister. But this goes to show, like, they do a lot of things, and the altercation really started because me and the individual had a fight, which they sent at me. They sent this individual at me. He later on gave me the whole suit. So now, the person that they sent lost. He couldn't handle me. So now they put you on what's called a wall, where they like pat you down, like when they stop guys in the street talk, they gonna pat you down, see if you got a weapon on you.
Right.
Now instead of just patting me down, because I don't have a weapon on me, he wants to hook off on me while my back is turned. This is something they got big going on in Albany too, because apparently every fight or altercation where the officer always wins with it, the misbehavior reports say that the inmate came off the wall. This is common sense. This is something that I have practiced in my grievance. This is common sense. If I had any intention at all, malicious intent to do something to this officer, why would I even get on the wall and give him my back? That makes no sense.
Yeah.
The only reason I'm going to come off that wall is because you did something to me. It's for the simple fact is, this is why I'm illustrating, telling dudes, don't take this prison life as a joke, because a lot of dudes go out there and talk this tough talk. A lot of dudes been on these walls. They get hit on these walls, snuff, beat up, kick, and they groin, dudes, they teeth. That's another thing. Dudes lose their teeth. And they just take it as it is. They hold it down because they're not ready for the ramification. Because when you hit one of them, believe it or not, you're going to have to go through a whole lot of them. I've been to the point where I'm knocked out, knocked back into conscious, knocked out, knocked back into conscious.
Wow.
But at the end of the day, I lived that life. It's not something that I'm proud of, but I lived that life. And it's to the point now where they don't even, like, mention a word to me. I don't speak to you. You don't speak to me, because they have what's called a red dot. The minute someone comes to a facility, well, okay, yeah, he's going to fight us back if we mess with him. So it's like a line of respect, but you don't get that respect unless you go through certain things, especially dealing with them. But this is the things that they do. It's nothing but an advantage to a disadvantage. The disadvantage is us, and they got the advantage. But they will not paint the picture that way. It would always say us, us, us. That's why I would recommend, don't, for anyone, if you're young, please do not do it. If you're thinking about shooting somebody, if you're thinking about stealing that car, if you're thinking about robbing that home, robbing that woman, please do not do it. And I will also give you a fair warning. This is a fair warning. This is a stone cold written jailhouse rule. If you rape a woman, if you harm a woman, you steal anything from an old lady that cannot defend herself, and you come to jail, you are heading for the world of trouble. The best place for you to be is in protective custody, because dudes in jail, despite the fact that a lot of them may not get along, but they take absolutely seriously anyone that do anything to a woman, especially naming those three things I just named. So please, do not even put yourself in that line of fire, and do not put yourself in the line of fire doing anything stupid or crazy to come to jail, because it's not something to live up to no height. There's nothing here. There's nothing here but misery, sadness, pain, and death. I could not give it to you no other way. Raw. That's it. Please stay home.
Well, Shem, this is priceless. You've been candid. I want to thank you for your courage, your bravery, and it takes a tenacious person to do what you did and to bring this kind of information to us. This wouldn't be the first time our listeners would hear from you. We'll be hearing more from you, and I really want to thank you again for doing this, and you will be in our prayers.
Thank you very much. Likewise.
All right. Thanks so
And
much.
for all the listeners, peace. Have a good night and peace. School your kids and yourself. It's
Thank you very
not
much,
nothing
Shem.
to brag about.
Brother, I tell you, man, you going on my prayer list, man.
Yeah.
You are definitely going on my prayer
Appreciate
list.
it. Thank you so much.
All right, man. Thanks.
Absolutely appreciate it.
Thanks,
Well,
Shem.
to my family out there, which I'm basically speaking on you guys because, you know, anyone that have any type of care and concern for me is considered family in my eyes. You don't have to be biologically related. It's just the family structure that we share is spiritual, soulful, and I appreciate everything y'all doing, and I hope y'all reach out to all the viewers that you are aiming to, and even if it's one person, two person, I hope 1 million people, but if anyone could take heed to this, and I'll always be available through my sister and through my foundation as a Lesson Survivor Kit, I'm always here because this is not something cool. It's just not.
All right, man. Thanks a lot.
Thanks, Shem.
Thank you very much.
All
Y'all have a
right.
good night.
You
You
stay
too.
with us, brother.
Bye-bye.
All right.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow. Well, I tell you, man, that's some insight. He educate me well. And you know, the mere fact that, you know, we're so blessed to have him on, Sharmin, you're blessed.
Thank you. Thank you.
To have that brother on that can share the insight. If you're just joining us, we're talking about hyper-incarceration. All right, we're talking about hyper-incarceration, and if you're just joining us, that means you probably missed the whole Shem. How should I put that? That was not an interview. I can't call that an interview, but that was an educational moment. You know, to see that young man went to prison from the age of 16. He's 37 years old now. That's 21 years incarceration. You know, and he's telling you clearly he doesn't want to see any one of you come there. You may not be able to endure what he endured. As he talks about Sharmin, and that's so ironic that, you know, just it was last week we did suicide. To see that, you know, people, when they cannot face the pressure, they commit suicide. You know, there's so much insight there. I don't know, man. I'm educated. I'm being educated every week on this show. Because there's always something that you learn that you never knew. Because, like I was saying, you know, thinking about when I was younger, and when I think back about the stupid things that I have done, you know, I could only say, thank God again, thank God that I was never caught in none of my stupid acts to end up in prison. Because you know what? Who knows what family member would have turned their back on me or what, you know, because people quick to say, you know what, you're stupid enough to go there, well then you gotta face what you gotta face. But we all make mistakes. Sometimes in the heat of a moment you make a mistake that you regret for the rest of your life. But you know, we all make mistakes and it may come, your time probably hasn't come yet, but it might be coming.
But you know what, Pastor Peter, what was so profound, one of the things that he shared in Wando, that a white person may commit an act against a relative, but the family is still there to support them. And we don't do that.
Nope.
That would be a wonderful study, Wanda.
The study was.
A wonderful study would be to look at the recidivism rates among the people that receive support, or do a correlation of the people that receive support and the people that don't, and see the recidivism rate among them.
Well, there has been those types of studies done, and I have mentioned it earlier, that people who have family members. They have contact with the outside world. People showing them that they matter. That those people are less angry, less frustrated, less stressed out when they come out because they have. It's like keeping hope alive, and having that contact on the outside is what keeps hope alive. But you can just imagine being in a cage and not having any outside contact, then you become that cage, you know, and all that frustration and anxiety and anger is internalized. And when you are released, it explodes. And it explodes on the community. And that's why you have the recidivism rate, they going back and back. And so for the people out there listening, if you have someone incarcerated, visit them, send them a letter. You don't have to spend a lot of money buying packages and sneakers and all that. It's not necessary. But let them know that they do matter, because there's not one single person walking this earth that have not done something in their life that they regret. Nobody's perfect. And so you have to not say it's okay you did this bad thing. It's not okay. But they're still human beings, and they're human beings living in cages. And you have to understand that. You have to understand the psychological impact that has on a person, that you got to walk and somebody told you, step in the cell. And when that cell closed, you're hearing bars go from one side of the wall to the next side of the wall, and you're in there. You can't leave. It's a fire until they open the door, and you're trapped in there like an animal in a cage. And it does something to people. And if you talk to the family members and the wives, the nuclear family, many of them will tell you, well, he's different or she's different when they come back. You see, and that is what the community needs more education around, is there's no way you're going to be the same after living in a cage. Even if you spent 1 year in a cage and somebody's telling you when you could eat, when you could sleep, when you could take a shower. You use the bathroom, everybody can just watch you because there's no doors. Your toilet is right there in your cell. So you have to think about, well, what happens to an individual that has to live like that? That have to live like that for an extended period of time. It does something to them. And when they come out, they come back to the family. The family is waiting. Oh, I have my son back. I have my husband back. I have my daughter, my sister, my mother is back. But that's not who left. This person is going to come back with the psychological damage that they have experienced from being incarcerated. They are also going to come back with, if they come out on parole, with the pressures from the parole officer. That's a whole another ball game. Where the parole officers are like the correction officers that they left. So now the family, thinking that they're helping the person, will put the pressure. You know, you got to get a job. You know, you got to get a job. Person trying to get the job, and they can't get the job because of the barriers to employment with people who are incarcerated. So what do? The more pressure from the family for them to do the right thing and make sure you make curfew, the family becomes like the correction officer. The family becomes like the parole officer. And what that does, that pushes the individual back into the street because they want to get away from that. They don't like to be asked, where you going, when you coming back. They don't like that. And so that, again, pushes them back into the street, because once they're released, the person want to feel free. You done been locked up. So now they tell you you're free, but you're not free because you got the parole officer on you, that you got the family on you, and that also contributes to the disintegration of the family. So the expectations is different. The person come out, they trying to get their life together. The family is waiting for them to come. Not to say they don't love the family, they don't love the wife, but that's not their focus. Their focus are to get back into life and to feel good about themselves. So families need to be educated around that and
Wow.
understanding that.
I mean, so basically, we're talking. The key thing is the key thing is education all around.
Yes. Wanda, as you spoke, I'm like, maybe we should, because, and I'm gonna backpedal a little. The reason why I'm going to suggest what I'm about to suggest is that, because I'm involved in so much recruitment for jobs, and you would hear applicants saying to you, I have a felony or I'm a felon. And they tell you up front that I have a felony or I'm a felon. And they're being honest. And when, a lot of times when, and mostly men, when men say that to you, you see the expectation of, I know I'm not going to get a job, but I have to go through this. And you see that disdain, like, I'm just letting you know, I have a felony. And 8 out of 10 times that person, may not get the job, may get the job, but in their head, they act, despite they got the job, they still think that this monkey is on their backs.
Right.
And they're carrying it. So how could we help those people that may have a felony to, yes, it's there, but not just overcome it, but embrace it and live with it?
Well, I would say that it's not 100%, because some, majority, yes, but you will have some that go in prison, they educate themselves while they're in prison, take the programs, even though it's changed some now from what it was before. And this is why education inside the prison is very important, because when they are allowed to get these degrees and come out and have tools to work with, they feel good about themselves. Mm-hmm. But when they come out and they don't have a tool to work with, all they got is a GED, and many of them are going to come out without even a work history. Right. Because if they go in at 16 and 17, they haven't had a job. Mm-hmm. So they're coming out and have to go on interviews. This is a whole new experience for them. And what happens is, after that door is slammed, and that door is slammed, and that door is slammed, every time it's slammed, it chips away at their self-esteem. For some, not all. Right. Some, they flip it and use it in a different way. That they let those challenges empower them rather than make them weak. So it depends on the individual. Because I have seen guys and females and women, and I've worked with the women and with males that come out. They come out knowing what they want to do. They feel good about themselves. They did their time. They go on interviews and they say, okay, if I don't get it, I'm going to keep going until I get it. And that's the mindset that you have to have in order to overcome that challenge, that barrier, because it's big. And see, and what a lot of people don't know is that an employer cannot discriminate against you because you have a felony conviction. Right. The only time they can discriminate against you is that, say, if you're a bank robber and you go to the bank, they don't have to hire you. But if you're a bank robber and but if you're a drug dealer and you go to the bank to get a job, they are not supposed to turn you down. That's discrimination. But not enough people know that law. Not enough people have put in the Commission on Human Rights. You can file complaints against employers with the Commission on Human Rights when you discrimination complaint. But people are not doing that, so employers will come up with all reasons why this person don't fit the job, no matter what kind of degree you got.
But one thing I like, well, I mean, sometimes where things change. But one thing I like is when you meet someone and they said, I have a felony, and the first thing that you tell them, well, that can't hinder you from getting a job.
Right.
But they just think that, look, I should tell you, so this is the first thing I'm going to present to you. I have a felony.
Yeah, and that makes sense. So why not talk about it first?
Yeah.
You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Because if you got a felony conviction and you going for this interview, you done been turned down, or people have been turned down, right? So you got the felony. That's the first thing you put out there. I got this felony, and I'm here for the interview. All of them do that, and they do that for that reason. If they sit there knowing they got that felony conviction and do not talk about it up front, that's going to create anxiety within them because they know that this is something that they got to talk about. So the longer they wait to bring it out, the more they're going to feel anxious. So it's better to just put it out there, just like somebody going to the parole board. You go to the parole board, you don't dance around the fact that you committed a crime. They know you committed the crime. You see what I mean? So you show remorse first. It's the same tactic.
Do they have corporation that do like second chance, like that? That will employ these people without really scrutinize so deeply.
Well, you have. First of all, the law says that you can't discriminate against a person, but they do, so we know that. Get that out the way. But you do have companies that hire formerly incarcerated people. Yes, you do. And then you'll have these advocacy groups that get together, like Fortune, Osborne, what is that called? Transitional Service, I can't think of the first word, with Julio Medina. And these organizations, they link with companies that hire formerly incarcerated people. Okay. So when people come to them who are formerly incarcerated and they are looking for employment, they will link them to an organization that won't give them that problem.
Right.
You see.
Shem mentioned something too, that when you asked him about education in the prison system, and he was talking about the trades and stuff that they're teaching. That's basically something that I mentioned earlier. If we have somewhere in the community that, these young kids out there, because sometimes I know my little brother, he dropped out of high school. He did his GED, and he was looking for a job. Couldn't find a job, ended up back now he took up back college. He went to college to do what he really wanted to do in the first place. Now, if we have like places that we can teach these young people a trade, that, because like a lot of the union, they don't look at your background, where you come from and whatever. If they're giving out 500 application, you on that line, you get the application, you're in. And they have good paying construction jobs out there if you can get into the union. But then if you don't know any trade, you don't know anything, you can't, even if you're around the neighborhood, and somebody said, what, I need an electrical outlet to change, I need a little plaster to done in my house or whatever, These are ways that they could even become entrepreneurs, because they already have the knowledge now. They learn something, they learn a trade. They can even start developing from there, printing cards, where they're giving out their cards and stuff like that. So, educating them, like somebody mentioned earlier too, that, you pointed out a problem, but you're not giving no solution. I think if we could get our community activists, if we could get our Congress people and all these people that has the resources that can put these things into place, it would be a good thing.
Pastor Peter, I'm happy that you repeated that, because when you mentioned it earlier, you mentioned it twice, so this is the third time. And I think that's where we're faltering as a community and as a people, because we are looking to the politicians or whomever to help us, as opposed to becoming the village again that raised the child. Many of us have basements in our homes, but what do we do with those basements? How about us opening our basement to kids in the community and bringing people to teach them?
Right.
Calling you live. Welcome to Talk Time with Sharmin.
Good evening, Sister Sharmin. How are you this evening?
Very good, Brother Earl.
Pastor Peter, good evening to you.
Brother Earl.
Yes, good evening, Pastor Miss Wanda. Good evening to you.
Good evening.
Very interesting conversation. Very great topic. Great topic. And I'm calling at this point to chime in right here at that point, right now that you just said, Sharmin. In our community, we need the churches to be more involved. Like you said also, our politicians in our neighborhood who in Albany and elsewhere are not passing bills for us, they need to be called out. Another thing that somebody said, I think one said, is we need more radio stations to carry these programs, because it comes down to the bottom line, like you just said it also, education. Education. I'm not sure if it's Sharmin or your pastor, Peter spoke of the Jewish community where the police was called and the rabbi, nothing that the rabbi has to be told first, then they'll make a decision. That's the kind of unity and togetherness in that particular community. Our neighborhood, we really need it, and it's personal as I listen to this program tonight, because I follow the news every day. Let me just say kudos to Sham for that great piece he just put out there for young people. And before I say more, let me say this. Young people, I hope you listen around the world to this program. Do not give up your freedom. Put down the gun. Sham had a great description to you all. Brother Earl knows it. I follow these things. You raping old women, robbing old women, you go to jail is not a pretty thing for you. Sham said it best, man. Listen, young people, you cannot give up your freedom. Stop the violence. You need to stop it. Take that book up. Take that book up. Yes, our communities may not have a place for you to go for recreation in the afternoon. Find something to do. Go on the internet and find a place, maybe outside of the community. You can do something after school. This is a very good conversation, and for free as always, this Sharmin gives us all this knowledge on a Monday. Young people, you cannot give up your freedom. Come back to the Hasidic community, like we said, the rabbi is in charge. In our community, we have a church at every corner, but we don't have pastors who are willing to bring young men into the congregation, to sit them down, or open their church for them to have activities to play, or do. We need this, and especially in this Brownsville, East New York here, we need more assistance for our young youth. But again, also, Brother Earl is a parent. I'm speaking to parents now. Please, you got to get a grip of your kids. The males, the females, you have to get a grip of them. Sham just said it. Sit your child down. Jail is not a joke. Jail is no joke. Like I said, you go in there, you are programmed. You're like a robot. You tell you when to shower, when to wake up, when to go to bed. Is that how you want to live? Let me say, the Sham said it best. There's trades available for you. There's trades in the prison. One that said maybe back in the days they had some they may not have, but Sham just said it. In prison, there's electrical, there's carpentry. Young men in prison, I guess some of you are listening to us also. Please, Sham said it best. It might be hard. Take to yourself. Go to those programs. Learn a trade. Learn a trade, because it was said earlier, for you to get out now, the first thing you need is a home. And if your family was not supporting you while you were there, what are you coming home to? What are you going to do? How are you going to get a second chance in society? You need a trade when you get out. Like the
give up your freedom.
Brother Earl,
Yes, Wanda.
keep this in mind.
Go ahead, please.
The prison system is leaning more punitive than rehabilitative. Not every single prison have trades. So you have to keep that in mind.
Thank you for that. Okay.
You know, some of the prisons, like Shim said, closer down to the city, you will find programs. But when you go up to Attica and Malone and those prisons up there, all the way up near Canada, Clinton, Dannemora,
You're just doing the hard time.
you just doing time. And the correction officers are, majority of them are white.
Exactly.
And
exactly.
You know,
like Sam said, it also
rednecks.
like
So
Sam said,
they're
like
not
Sam said, there's no cameras in there.
Right. So
There's no cameras.
it's kind of designed that some of them are going to make it because they're going to get these programs.
Right,
But a
exactly.
large percentage of them are not. And
That's
like
coming
he
out.
said,
Wow, that's
a
the
large
sad part.
percentage of them go in there without a high school diploma. That's why I asked them that question.
Very good. Yes, I heard you did ask me that. Yes. Correct.
Right. So the majority of them don't have a high school diploma because that's why a lot of times that's why they're in there. They can't get a job. They don't have an education. So they go sell drugs and go commit crime.
Understood. Understood. That's true.
And
That's true.
see,
Yes.
and then there's another piece to it.
Yes.
You have these young people going to prison and going to jail and going to the penitentiary, and they're leaving homes where they have no parental guidance. So they gravitate to gangs.
To the gangs right away, immediately.
So
exactly.
they gravitate to gangs before they get to the prison.
Exactly.
You see, so it's a lot of work that has to be done. It's not just a quick fix.
No, it's not.
No.
But with great programs like this, and again, we need to start calling out our politicians in our communities who are not doing for us. We need to
Right.
start
That's I'm
calling out
glad
our
you said
churches.
that because I was thinking about that and I didn't say it. We
need
need
to
to
call out our
start
churches
asking
also.
the politicians, what is your political agenda in reference to prisons, in reference to addressing juvenile delinquency? What is your, none of them talk about that.
Nope.
Well, last time you heard one say, well, we're going to reform, we're going to put some programs in the community. None of them talk about that. But we who vote, we have the power to make them talk about it, to make them think about it, you see. Instead of having the same good old boys every election, they get reelected and reelected. They don't care about us.
People do some work for us, real work for us.
Exactly, so you need to get some new blood
in
in there.
favor with young people. We've lost too many of them to the justice system and continue to lose. So like Sean said, even if we've touched one soul tonight, like we
That's
also
right.
one soul, we've accomplished something.
I'm just so happy to
And
be a
on that
part of the
note,
conversation.
I thank you all for your time. You all have a wonderful evening. What a show as always for free. For free, it is wonderful. Thank you all. Have a wonderful evening.
Brother Al, thank you. Thank you, Brother Al. You know, you always supported, man. We thank you for the continual support.
I think my call is with attack, okay?
All right, brother. Have a blessed one. All right.
Yeah, Pastor Peter and Wanda, as I was saying, I know that for years we've been looking to the politicians. For years, I mean, when we spoke about HIV, I spoke about the churches.
Right.
The churches getting involved because we have a church on every corner. But these institutions or the politicians have not done anything for us.
Right.
And you know, we need to do something for ourselves.
But you see,
and it doesn't have to be something major. Something, it can be small. In countries where Christianity is banned, they start with cell groups.
Right.
A little cell group in a house. And that cell group grows and grows and grows. We can adopt the same model and start little groups with the same young man that when you see him coming up the street, because his pants is all the way to his knees and you cross the street. But if you have a male and you can help that young man to pull his pants up to his hips, you've made some progress. And that's where I think we need to go.
Good evening, caller. You're live with Sharmin.
Good evening, guys. Good evening, Miss Sharmin.
Good evening, Samantha.
Wonderful, wonderful, wonderful topic.
Thank you.
I call to share my experience. I never incarcerated, but I am married to an individual who society would label as a felon. When I met my husband, he was 11 years since he was last incarcerated, and it has been a daily struggle. And you touched on something that is so true. Applying for a job and getting the job and still doubting. And I remember we talked about his new job, and we talked about, and I remember even after doing everything and doing the background check and getting the offer letters and all of that, that a start date and everything, he would still ask me, do you really think they're going to give it to me? And I'm like, it is already there. But he still had this fear, knowing his past, that, you know, there's a chance that he can just go back and take it away. And, you know, it's hard as a wife, you know, to see him struggle with a side effect of one living his life, of, you know, one being back and forth in another person. I mean, I wasn't there when all of this happened. I came to years later. But, you know, I have to live with a side effect of that, you know, and many times he said to me, you know, when person I was told when she eats, when to me, and to do this, we're not to do this. So sometimes I would, you know, look in the home and there's some conversation and I'd be like, you know what, do this for me. And sometimes he would give a reaction and I'm like, hey, I'm just asking you to do that. You don't have to do it now. But, you know, being years and years of being told what to do, if you speak to him and sometimes I get a flashback and he will put it in, you know. And, you know, I was listening to the young man and he shares the stories and my husband constantly shares those stories with the kids. And, you know, I want to say to my kids that are listening, you know, even when you go to prison, you come out and you get a job and, you know, life is going well, you're still dealing with the demons. You still have to deal with a side effect of these things, and it's not healthy. It's a very, very hard, yeah. Especially when you come back now and you have a family or you have kids. You know, it's really, really, really tough. So I want to plead with my kids that are listening and plead with others listening. Just stay out of prison. That's the best you can do. Just stay out of prison. It is not easy, you know. I am born. As you guys were talking, he said, learn to trade in prison, and looking at the certificate is actually in federal. It's actually a federal program. So now it's recognized everywhere and go for jobs, and it's like, wow, there's all this here that federal name behind that certificate. It doesn't say anything about prison. So employers are impressed, like, oh, you got this with them. But still,
well,
you don't feel like it's not good enough. You know, I don't take it from you, let it find out.
You know, thank you for calling and thank you for sharing that. And it might be sometime next year. I would try to put together a panel of maybe people that were incarcerated and experience the struggles that you share, and spouses who also experience what you are sharing, and really have a panel discussion on that, because I don't think it's something we talk about because of the stigma and all the other things that are assigned to it. So, Samantha, if you don't hear that of the plans, please remind me, and thank you for calling.
You are so welcome, and thank you. Press up my call, and I do hope you love the guys. I love you. I'm sorry that I couldn't come back.
I wanted you to deliver it to me, but Boss Lady did, and I want to say thank you, thank you. You are a gem. She just left us.
All right, it's time to wrap up. Time to fly. I'm telling you, man, it's 9 o'clock. But you know, we wanna thank everybody that tuned in tonight. Those of you that's on my feed, let me just say good night and thank you for tuning in. Miss Kerry Collins, all the way from Australia. Thank you very much for tuning in, and for all the rest of you that was on my feed, those of you that was on Sharmin's feed, those of you that was on the Vibes Up Radio feed. I think Miss Wanda was live too, Miss Wanda.
Yeah, I was trying to get it.
Okay, so all those that was on Wanda's feed, you know, we thank you very much for your continual support to all the Vibes Up family. Thank you for your support. We thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. We want to thank Vibes Up Radio. You know, special thanks to Vibes Up Radio, to Boss Lady, to the captain, and to everyone that's involved with Vibes Up Radio that, you know, give us this platform where we can come out and where we can touch and educate our audience. And thank you for allowing us to do that also, Sharmin.
Thank you, guys. 3 hours possibly, we may have to go an extra 2. Thank you, guys. Wanda, I really want to thank you for being here. And you will not be a stranger to this show. This is not the last time our audience and viewers would be seeing or hearing from you, because you have a wealth of knowledge that I would like you to share with our audience. And for the month of October, I know you're also the expert with DV, and next month, as I discussed with you, we're going to dedicate the entire month to domestic violence, because there's so much. It's like an onion. You peel off the first layer, you still have the second. So I really want to thank you, and thank you for committing to helping with domestic violence and helping with this hyper-incarceration.
I look forward to it. Now I know how to get here, so I won't get lost.
Okay.
Next time.
Thank you. Thank you. Pastor Peter, close us out.
Father, we thank you tonight, Lord, for Jesus Christ. We thank you, God, for giving us this opportunity, oh God, to reach your people, oh God, to educate them, oh God, to empower them, oh Lord, with knowledge, oh God, with understanding, with wisdom, Lord. We thank you, God, even for Brother Shem, oh God, Father God. As this young man testified tonight, oh God, I pray, God, that you will take him to higher heights, oh God, and deeper depths, oh God. Father God, that you will continue to strengthen him, oh God. Father God, that he can continue to do your work, oh God, Father God. Lift him up, lift up his family, oh God. Let them be encouraged, oh God, Father God. Lord God, shower your blessings upon them, oh God. Touch each and every one. Touch Vibes Up Radio. Touch the Vibes Up family, oh God, Father God. As we are about to depart from this place, oh God, but not your presence, oh God. Guide us, protect us, oh God. Take us in safety. Keep us in safety. Keep everyone in safety out there in Radio Land. In Jesus' name, amen.
New York City's #1 choice for Caribbean entertainment. Vibes Up Radio HD.